crazy stories, about get,
Mm-mm.
getting the vaccine and the kind of side effects, and it's quite
Wha-
crazy thing, so I was very hesitant in the beginning.
Mm,
Just I mean, everyone in my family said, "Well, you gotta wait a little bit to see
mm.
if this vaccine is good to your body or it's just a jeopardy
But you
to."
will not know. It is unpredictable, actually.
It
So,
is. Yeah. So I beginning I was very hesitant. I didn't know, but part of like my inner consciousness was like, just go and take it and F
no,
it.
good for you.
Uh,
It is very good step that you did. The government has spent like $1 million on those vaccines, so it's our duty to have it, not to waste those
may I
money
ask?
on.
May I ask that you decided to not take it simultaneously with uh, with your husband, just because you thought that taking it at the same time may cause you some trouble, or why?
No, because I thought that if I knew that it would cause a lot of symptoms. So I said if we took it all at the same time, then is going to take care of my baby? So I decided that we should shift the dose.
What do you mean by shifting the dose? Like
I
exchanging?
mean, yeah, I mean, like postponed it a little after Jafar getting well, but I didn't
Mhm,
have the time to have it later. So I decided to take it the next week with my sister-in-law.
mhm. Okay. And how is he doing right now?
But after 3 days, I think, or 4 days, he had some allergic reaction in his body. He had like red
Mhm,
patches along his body. We didn't know what is it. Uh, what was the reason for that?
mhm.
This is the only, yeah, I mean, the only strange side effect that he had, and I don't know. I'm not sure if it was related to the vaccine or not.
Mhm. Now, one more question that I will ask about this kind of vaccination, because
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that you have more familiarity with it than me. Um, if you have some psychological concerns or hesitation
Mm.
or worriness about the vaccine, would that ultimately going to develop some degradation in the person's immunity, or
Well,
that wouldn't be considered as a big factor?
I don't think it's a big deal. Like we had concerns even for very small, like injection or a small analgesic pill, but doesn't. This is a very normal condition that you have to be concerned about the things that you are not familiar with. But I don't think it's have that much effect on your immunity or your immune response that will like diverse the reaction. Do you understand what I
You
mean?
mean,
What I mean?
yeah, I do. But do you mean reverse
Like
the
yeah. Sorry, reverse the reaction. I don't think so.
uh-huh. Okay. Well, I mean, it was just a thought in my mind that I wanted to check and see the perspective of, you know, hearing it from a perspective of a
The,
doctor.
the problem with the vaccines that are developed against coronavirus, the only thing is that it hasn't been tested before. Like every
Mhm,
vaccine had to be uh, dealt with for years before
mhm,
they publish it to the ordinary people. But this is the case in those vaccines. But it is not a big deal actually, because millions of people had took it and they have nothing. So if you have taken it, if there are like solitary cases of side effects or adverse effect, it's not a big deal.
Okay. Now, since we are talking about the vaccine, we should start talking about writing vaccine and listening vaccine. And I don't know if there is.
By the way, what kind of vaccine have you taken?
AstraZeneca.
The same as Jafar.
Oh yeah, I think the standard of the market right now. The other one, the Pfizer, was not available, and it comes in. I'm not sure if I was not sure if I was able to get it, so I just went with the one that hundreds of people took, and I was just like, well, I'm just like any other person. I'm just gonna take it, and so be it. Yeah, so that was the case in general. Talking about the listening section, and before we start talking a little bit about it, I wanted to check on something quite important, and that is, I asked you about it before. When is your plan, like foreseen plan, and you can say that in, when you predict you will be able to register, not to take, but to register a vial? When do you plan?
I don't feel I'm ready right now.
No, I am not
I'm well prepared.
saying you are ready. I'm not saying you are. I'm not talking from a language perspective. I'm not talking from a language perspective, because this is something that I can confirm to you when the time comes. But keep in mind, you should at least take the test twice. Or you may be taking the test twice. However, about that from a language-related perspective, I'm talking about it from a logistical and administrative perspective. Like, there are certain, I know that Jafar has some certain preparations for the future. And since we don't know what's happening in terms of immigration and, traveling abroad and all of that kind of things. But I'm just talking from a family plan perspective, because, like, if I ask you, where do you see yourself in 2 years? You would say, probably I will be working as a graduate assistant in College of Medicine in one of the universities in Tokyo, for example. So this is your foreseen plan for the future. This is where you set the objective of where you are going to be in the future. And that's pretty much my question is, where do you see you might potentially be able to take the test, logistically speaking, like from a dreamy point of view?
Let us talk in reality. I don't want to talk about dreaming or something like that. Like, I'm planning to have a travel to Turkey, so I am planning to take it there, actually, in Turkey.
For what reason?
I didn't like the test I did here in Iraq. I didn't feel more comfortable here. I thought that if I will change the place and if I will go to some place different from the last 2 tests that I did, I think I will did better. Like, it will add some pressure on me. Like, you are traveling and you are spending a lot of money and you are doing this in a different country. So it will be a good motivation for me.
Well, talking from my own perspective and from my own experience, building on a different category of test, which is TOEFL. Um, I have taken that test around 11 times. Well, 11 times in the United States and one time in in Iraq. The first time I took it in Iraq was just a paper-based test, and the 11 times I United States when I was traveling there. So I pushed on myself to take the test like twice a month because there was a deadline for me to apply for the school. What I discovered from that is that I had that kind of like premature idea that if I take the test in another location, I might get a better result just because the scenery is different. The people are going to administer the test are different. So maybe because I'm consistently taking the test in the center, maybe those people who are in the center are managers of test administration or the voice quality or whatever kind of hypothesis was in my mind. Then I discovered that it has nothing to do with the test location. It just had to do with the length of time I trained myself on the content of the test. So I was fully committed in the last months prior to take the test to go to the bookstore, to the library of the school and read from literally early in the morning. I go grab a cup of coffee from Starbucks and I head to bookstore, to library. And then I keep training myself on previous test models. And I train myself in a very consistent and disciplined manner. And by disciplined, I mean I just allocate a very calculated amount of time to do exactly what the test takers are doing and put myself into some restricted area where I don't have people around me, and I start working on that. And then to the last test, I have noticed a steady increase in the number of scores that I got, starting from getting 79 in the first test to the point where I started getting and hitting 98, 99, 97, 96 in each of the tests, considering the fact that each test cost me $250 around that. But I didn't have any alternative except for taking the test. So I had to go with the traditional method of paying the money from my own pocket and just jumping into the test. But what I have noticed different from my performance in the test, there were two major things that just helped me so much. First, I had an American soldier who trained me how to read fast and how to tackle the difficult wording of the test, and train me on some strategies to take the test and be disciplined. And second is the amount of time I spent practicing taking the test, to the point it was just so so addicting to take the test. Like every week, like I feel I should take the test because it just happened that I'm not registering for the test. But the case in the United States is very simple. Once you have enough money, you can do whatever from your couch. But in Iraq, it's a little bit more complicated.
I don't know. When I travel, I feel that I speak English better, especially in Turkey. Like I be more comfortable and confident. I felt that this might help me after, like if I spend like 15 days there talking only in English, and then I will go to the test, I'd be more comfortable in doing the test.
Okay, well, there are, theoretically speaking, I'm saying that theoretically speaking, because I cannot decisively say 100% I'm sure of that, that that there are certain potential reasons for this kind of phenomenon. To name few, first, there is higher level of no restricted environment to speak in certain grammatical rules, as you have, for example, if you're to people who dictate on you what you should say, especially in the classroom environment. Second, the kind of topics that you communicate with are extremely socially related, where you have the liberty to move around and choose whatever expression you have. So you're not dealing with it's a good analogy. So when you go to a to cookies store or sweet store or fashion store, you're not going, or you're not demanded to express yourself in Ielts style to say I want to negotiate purchasing this product. Like, first of all, thank you so much for presenting this dress in front of us to show the glamorous style of your.
I can assure you that if I will do that in Turkey, they will not understand me. They will not understand any word because
which leads me to the third element, which is lack of sophisticated and advanced English speakers in Turkey.
Yes.
So you are in a very, like, in the land of blind, the one-eyed is a king.
What is that?
In the land of blind, في أرض العميان, the one-eyed, الأعور, is a king.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I'm not saying you are one-eyed, بس هذا مثل بالإنجليزي يعني.
Yes.
So you have very high privilege to express yourself and feel the glamour of expressing yourself in English or in any other language that you speak, like Romanian, especially if there's population of people from that country, there, and so you can just specifically focus. But the idea is that when it comes to academia, believe it or not, even native speakers fail an IELTS test. So it's quite it's quite common that you come across people who are native speakers, but their ability to express themselves in academic style. Like, I assure you, Zainab, that the essay that you wrote about motherhood is unparalleled to any person who might brave enough, to just say what you said in the willpower of motherhood. Like, I mean, I can name a lot of people who can write English, but not to the effectiveness of delivering that message, because there's a nuclear fusion of motherhood feeling and motherhood vocabulary that just create this beautiful spectrum or beautiful, colorful combination of feelings and emotions and good language word choice. Like, when you say there is no single or absolute definition of a motherhood, in fact, motherhood is an accumulation of variables, emotion, and experiences. I mean, I object to the word variable because it's very technical, but the idea is that your flexibility of choosing this word is just out of this world. It's really it's really beautiful. But that's my own understanding. Like, it's completely. I mean, we need to edit this. We just need to as I said, maybe it becomes memoir uh, uh, of yourself sometime later. There's one interesting thing that I wanted probably thinking my consciousness thinking of putting you on track of publishing a book about your motherhood. uh, there's one thing that's interesting that I want to share it with you here, but I mean it comes with lots of editing. Um, just check it out.
On Skype?
Yeah. It's not perfect because it needs tremendous amount of editing. I want you just to go from the beginning and read partially just the first 2 or 3 paragraphs here. Just read it in your voice and see who said this.
I was just adding a lot of kudos to my weight every time I
went there.
Said, what is that? So he said, I don't want you to be sick. I don't want you to have like high blood pressure or to have I remember that. Yeah, you have a child now. This is my father. He knows it, not. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So the first thing, now going to the second paragraph, the first thing and the first it's stimulus. You said that helps you to start thinking.
Yes.
About weight loss. And other thing is that, my mother also wanted to have some sports and to reduce her weight because she's getting old and she don't want to, so this can be edited. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
No, the voice went off. Yes.
Okay, so the idea is you can take this draft, this raw text, يعني نص خام, and we can just make 15 to 20 pages out of it, and we just add to it and just modify it. So we put chapter 1 as your book, introduction, and then seriously, like you can put it. We can put it in this context, and then later on, maybe in 10 years, you would have accumulated enough experiences and enough text to just create 100 pages book, But this is just to put you on this track that you have very good effective skills when it comes to, expressing yourself. We just need to filter out the and like and I mean, and filter the grammatical mistakes here and there, and then solidify it with good writer. So creating that book, and this is how the book is produced. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, Jafar pleased also by the idea. He made something I didn't understand it's actually, but he said that some kind of an account on Amazon or something like that you can put your book on it. Yeah. So he was trying to encourage me.
I really, I mean, whatever you wrote on that paper, I recommend you read it to Jafar.
He heard it and he read it a lot.
The motherhood?
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was very happy with what he.
Yeah, of course.
With what he heard, because I was very impressed. Like I was tearing. My eyes were tearing when I was listening to you, because I've gone through that kind of process, like of being a mother and just being your companion, like going through the process of pregnancy and gestation and the whole process of a baby delivery and the kind of collateral pain that women undergo, in addition to what women undergo physically. So it's really extreme kind of body transformation, and it's not easily captured by men. So just putting that maybe in Arabic, not English, and then translating that into English or putting it in very raw English text. But this is really, I'm not going to say a premature kind of discussion, but I just want to plant the seed of this idea in your mind.
Okay.
And hopefully one day in the future, you're going to, your
Sign a book
conscious.
for you. Sign a version for you.
Well, yeah, well, definitely.
Okay. What about the second graph that I did?
Say it again.
What about the second paragraph or the text that I did about the chapter 6? We didn't discuss.
The power of crisis, I truly like it, especially the introduction. Like most of the leaders and decision makers may compete for power, only so they temper their goals and desires to ensure that their organization are kept on track and being successful by a process called a truce. Despite the fact that this is an elongated version of a simple sentence, maybe we consider this as a compound complex sentence, but we still struggle with the run-on sentences.
Yes.
Run-on sentences comes from the train of thought. Like it's just a collateral side effects of going into some sort of, let me say, train of thought. So the idea is that sometimes we go through some controversial aspects that we just overlook when we start the discussion here, like especially in the introduction where we say the routine of truces offer a rough justice that makes the whole amount of work get done, and with the useful blah 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 blah, and you see you never seem to stop. The narrative the narrative really well
Hello?
divide this. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now.
Just double checking here. Do you want me to send you the link to the doc on Google Drive, or you have access to it right now?
No, I have it. Okay, I will open it.
Okay, so looking at this, probably we're just digressing here, are we?
Just give me a few seconds.
Okay.
Okay, there. Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it. Like here, for example, looking at this beautiful this road. Let me just change it because the standard is Times New Roman. You see here that the routine offers a rough justice that make the whole amount of work get done, and within the usual frequencies. Nonetheless, rivalry still exists. Like if I just copy this into Word document. Now, if I copy this into a Word document, we may come across, let's say, around roughly 85 words sentence. And that is extremely long. That is very extremely long kind of sentence to be written in, for example, IELTS. Now, the one that you wrote is not strictly an essay for IELTS. It was just an attempt to summarize, synthesize, and reproduce your understanding of chapter 6.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say, that it's just like it's not a brief, but explaining the idea in details about that chapter.
Well,
that's which is very long,
which is cool,
and
which is fine. It is cool. It is fine. I don't have any objection to that. I think when it comes to writing and perfecting your writing style, we just need to necessarily understand that there are certain norms and the traditions in our writing that we have to abide by, follow, and strictly, be disciplined to. I'm trying to capture the word that describes exactly what my feeling is. To capture the moment of our feeling, and that does not come from run-on sentences. I think we have now purely one single major problem, and that is just to run on sentences. That means we just need to stop around 1.5 line. That is almost, that is pretty much what we have to stop at, and then building on that. Like we can just build a narrative on that. Now, I'll ask you a question again, because we are digressing. This is not our point of discussion for tonight. But I wanted to just shed some light on that part where we can just do a little bit of modification later on. Like, how do you divide the sentence here? Like, the routine of truces offers a rough justice that makes the whole amount of work get done. Like, how do you just shorten this?
Like truces offer justice. Offer justice that will enable the work to be done.
Can you just modify
write
it?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I just want you to just write it so I can have a look at it.
Okay.
Now, the routine of truces offers a rough justice that make the whole amount of work get done within the usual frequencies.
This is the original one.
And trucks?
The second.
Trucks?
No,
what do you mean by trucks?
No, truces.
Truces offer justice that enables the work to be done quickly. Oh, like, I want you to say what you said here in Arabic. What do you mean in Arabic?
Like الهدن هدن what is it؟ شنو هي بالعربي؟ الجمع. الهدنة ما أعرف.
هدنات I have no idea.
اوكي الهدنة خلينا نقول
نعم.
يعني تنطي نوع من العدالة، توفر نوع من العدالة اللي تساعد أو تمكن من يعني إداء العمل بصورة سريعة.
Okay. Next, the next part here. So, nevertheless, rivalries still exist, but kept within bounds. Therefore, the business thrives. However, sometimes it's insufficient truces. Sometimes
Like we
create
can say only sometimes rivalries still
rival.
exist, and okay, and truces are insufficient.
Keep
Without
going.
other details.
Keep going.
Okay, complicated, awkward. Like all of that can be deleted. We can say that sometimes or nevertheless truce, like just let me write it. Truce is sometimes insufficient. And a complicated and awkward piece, but when this piece is not real, and the truth will be unsustainable. Insufficient, and we still have ways, and hence routine will fail or will be breaked. True sometimes insufficient, and that's it. Truth is sometimes insufficient, and we still have rivalries, and hence routine will fail.
Okay. Well, okay. So I kept within bounds. Therefore, business. Okay. Sounds good. I mean, considering the fact that probably the main reason I gave you this kind of task is because we used to be given this task when I was back in the United States. Like our teachers used to give us tasks to summarize a chapter of a book that we discuss or we study, just because they want to get us on track of understanding the content and beyond the content of the text and the messages implied within the parameter of the chapter. So that's pretty much was something in their mind when it comes to telling us. However, the case is a little bit different here, and I think it's just to give you this tasking task is just to help you produce more content, written content, and it's not to enforce you to struggle with text, but just to understand the texture itself, the anatomy of how we design a paragraph and what kind of content we put it in that paragraph, brick by brick. Writing is like building a house, starting from the foundation where the statement lies, and then building layers above layers of bricks that just are measured clearly by centimeters or millimeters in certain occasions to show the ultimate design, the beauty of the design in final stages. So that's pretty much what it is. Now, to this point, I would say that the majority of your writing, like starting from the next paragraph, it's all one long sentence. The next one that you have, unfortunately, when we blah 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 crisis happens or is imminent, the people may experience the potential of effective changing. It may have a real motivation to change the reasons behind. All of this is completely long, like absolutely long sentences. Not to say it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. The kind of four factors that we have, the cohesion and coherence, the grammar range and accuracy are good. Lexical diversity is good. Task achievement is good. But we only have problem with cohesive and cohesion devices here. Like we just need to connect. Like train compartments. Every train is connected by joints. Like the muscles, they are human muscles connected by joints or by nerve tissues or what?
They are bound to the bone, connected to the bone.
By what? What kind of connection?
Ligaments.
Like
sorry, tendons.
Okay, so we just need that to connect the paragraphs and the sentences. Like on the structure of every sentence is connected to the next sentence with a joint, and every paragraph is connected to the next paragraph with a joint, and all of that is going to create a synergy, a coordination, or a beautiful symphony of meaning that is decoded in the mind of the reader. To put it in that simplistic description here. Are we good?
Yes.
Let me shut up right now and stop talking about giving you feedback on this particular task and shift to another important one. If you scroll down, we talked about Ielts writing task 1 and task 2. We have spent some time talking about task 1. Now I want to, be a little bit talkative with you about task 2. How do you find task 2? I'm sorry, task 1.
I'm not familiar with it, actually. I don't have much experience with it. It's like a collection of data, and you have to describe it in details. Like sometimes I try to do some of them, like a bar chart and pie chart. I just got lost. I don't know where should I start. From the high one, the similar ones, the low ones. I didn't know how to put it together, and from where should I start.
How about the one that I told you about that we discussed last time? Was it difficult or easy to grasp?
It is very easy. After I read the solution, I said, oh my God, why didn't I think this way? Why didn't I put it in this simple, ideas and simplify it like this?
Now let's have a look at this one before we see the description that is provided here. So we have this task. Do you see it or not, the chart?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So the percentage of part-time workers in each country of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Now, I want you just to tell me what you understand from this particular one.
They are comparing the number of, or let's say percentage of workers in the year of 1980 to 2010.
Okay. Now, the good thing is that we are not demanded to write extensive amount of text on this. We just need to write around 150 words, starting from 150 words, jumping to probably 180, 175. So putting that in perspective of lines, that is around 15 lines or 15 sentences maximum. 15 sentences is not excruciatingly, painstakingly tremendous amount of writing. It's just easy and simple. The ultimate objective of the test administrators of designing this task is to see if you understand how to say or describe a chart in simple English. Not only academic, but simple English. Okay, so so when we're talking about a bar chart, this is a bar chart. So it becomes like it's a bar chart. So when we talk about it, we're talking about it from a bar chart perspective. We just need to pay attention to the major elements that they focus on. So the graph below, which is a bar chart, was the percentage of part-time work. So we can just remember when we started paraphrasing the question in task 2. This is pretty much what we have to do here. Instead of shows, we can say reveals, demonstrate,
reveal, illustrate.
In each country of the United Kingdom in 1980 and 2010. Summarize the information. Now, we just need to summarize the information. By summarizing the information, we clearly don't have to elaborate extensively on the major differences between England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, but just to specifically stick to the gist. By selecting and reporting. So we select and report the main features. Okay, so when he says main features, we choose more than one. So what are the main features? Wales around 35 here, between 40 and 30. See?
England,
just draw a line here.
England 30. And Scotland had the lowest 10%, like.
Okay, so what we need to do is before we start drafting the file of the writing, we for sure have to put it in what? In a draft. So we just highlight the key features. Paragraph 1, Wales, reporting what Wales percentage of part-time workers. Then on paragraph 2, using your pen or pencil, not your pen, and a white sheet of paper, write the key information that you want, and that have the major features that make comparisons when relevant. We can draw comparisons between Wales and the lowest in Scotland and Northern Ireland, Ireland, and the highest, that is spike, between Wales and England, using some statistical expressions, like there is a dramatic increase, dramatic decrease, there is escalation, there is a steep increase, or this kind of expressions. Okay. And then we start reporting and doing comparisons. So we draw 4 or 5 paragraphs, and for every paragraph we focus on one key sentence we are going to say, like one key fact, and then we report it. And by reporting, we just stick to the major tense that is demanded. So if we are reporting, we can use past simple, and we stick to past simple. Or so it talks about the percentage of people who have part-time jobs in the countries that make up kingdom, because United Kingdom is a combination of countries. And then we report the date. Now, if you get lost, remember the beginning of every single movie in the world. Every beginning of a single movie in the world starts with the location, the geographical location, and the date, because they want to locate the audience in time and geography and place, time and place of where the event is happening. So you notice either in 1995, in blah, 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 in dates, Fulani, and they show you a landscape, like a bigger, broad, either drone image or video, or where the event is taking place in a train station or something.
Like what I did understand also that I not obligated to describe all the countries. Like I will take the countries that have major changes throughout the years. Like
so
for
we
example,
can talk...
England, Scotland, and Wales.
Perfect. So we can say, like, in the beginning, the bar chart demonstrates blah 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 in the country and the date, which is as I draw the analogy of the movie too. And there's what sort of similarities and differences, because bar charts vary from one test to another. So if there are any general similarities or differences, and then if there are any differences, and then what the graph shows in terms of the differences. And then we start, like, the next paragraph saying, for example, starting from the earliest date, which is 1980, because it shows 1980s in green and then in blue. Yes. And the percentage, we write the percentage in number.
Yes.
And then we compare that to that of 2010. And then we say increased or decreased. And then we go choose another sample, like Wales, and we say, while, for example, while Wales witnessed a dramatic increase number of part-time work compared to extreme decrease in Northern Ireland in the same year of 2010. And this percentage shows a similar tendency in Wales in 1980, and England with little bit less in 1980. And then you don't have to write in conclusion, by the way. You just need to say the general description. You're just observing. You're not giving your opinion. Your opinion is not given here. You're just reporting and observing.
Yeah.
And that's it. So what I want you to do is just build on this. I think the best way is to do simulation. So what I want you to do is, this is just a simulation. Let me just put it in a different color. So I just want you to read this. And I'll just put it in this color. So you can have a look at it sometime later, maybe tomorrow, and create something similar, but not a copy paste. Once you get used to do something similar, you would definitely get the skill of describing the chart with zero difficulty.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes.
Great. Now I'll send you the score for the listening section. I'll just have a look at your responses and what you missed. But the next thing that I want you to do is just have a look at this chart and try to describe it to me. Do not copy paste everything that is given in this model answer, because I want you to develop your own independent writing style that on which we build, you know, our upcoming answers. And this is just one sample. There are hundreds of samples for the test online, and each one varies on a different scale from one to another. But we just need to understand the theory, the framework, and what comes later is just a matter of how we phrase it in writing.
Okay.
Great. So until then, we'll just stay in touch. Today is April 21st. Can we meet on Saturday?
Yes. Okay.
But whenever you finish it, just send me a text message. I don't know. Sometimes I don't get access to Skype text messages. So if you can text me on WhatsApp, that would be highly appreciated.
Okay.
So
me too. I do not receive the notifications. I don't know why. Only if I open the application.
Yeah. So this is my number. It has only Skype. WhatsApp. So you can just text me your number so I can save it, and we can text each other in case you finish it.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much for
medical side review. I will give you an advice regarding the vaccination.
Yes, please.
There's after 2 weeks, you have to do a test called D-dimer test. It is a test that will measure the clotting factor level in your blood, because I don't know, they said that it causes clotting to your blood. So to be relieved and to not to think too much about it, after 2 weeks you have to measure something called D-dimer, and I will write it to you in any lab you find.
Okay, perfect. Well, please send it to me so I can have access to it and just go to one of the laboratories to do the goddamn test.
Yes. You know, only for precautions.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. Well, please do. By the way, is it recommended that people do exercise? And is that contributing any positively or negatively to the vaccine?
You can do whatever you want. Your symptoms now subsided and you are doing good. It doesn't interfere with anything related to your activities.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, stay in touch. Please text me on, this is your number. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just copy it and then I'll text you on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, stay in touch then.
Okay. Have a good night. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.